Everyone, welcome to the next episode of Independent Artists Unite, brought to you in association with Nocturnazine. Please follow them. We have back for their second visit to the show, Daniel of Albatross Heights. Thank you, Daniel.
What is happening? Thank you, Scott, for having me back, man. I appreciate it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and others that may be watching, I had to beg Daniel to come back because he said, well, maybe I'll come when I'm doing this next EP or something like that. And I'm such a huge fan. I just couldn't take it of this song, your last song, Higher Than Love. I love that song. It is
Thank you.
insane. It's insane. And you were kind of like, when I was back and forth with you about it, you were kind of like, it's kind of seemed like, oh, I'm kind of throwing this out, and then I'm putting an EP or whatever. And then I thought, well, maybe this is going to be kind of maybe he kind of will phone it in on this one. I don't know. It doesn't sound like he's too excited about it. And then when it came out, I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's kind of you to say. It's kind of you to say.
I mean, dude, I love your songs. Yeah, they are so creative.
Thank you.
And this is like, it's interesting, man, because I want to say a little bit on Instagram, because you put on Instagram stories a lot, this and that about mental health and some spiritual things and some kind of affirmations and things like that. So I feel like you're going through something, Daniel.
Let's see. I'm almost 49. That'll make 49 years I've been going through something. So yeah,
No.
I'm going through something the whole time.
I'm with you.
It's all good. We're all going through
I'm
something,
with you.
and I'm not by myself. We all struggling, man. So but it's good to I try to share to a degree without oversharing what challenges I might be having in case it helps somebody, I mean.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I actually really like these, when artists put up a little meme or two here and there. I do it myself because it's like, so like, from little things that you did, I say, okay, this guy's been through it. And then for you to put out this beautiful music is like, to me, that is like the perfect transaction with the universe. The universe gives you these troubles, and for you to turn it around and make such a beautiful piece of music and keep doing it. I mean, you consistently put out these amazing songs. To me, that's so inspiring because I've been left with that as my only choice as well. I have to try, to do it. So it's like such it's super inspiring to see you do that without even knowing the specifics. You know what I mean? Just the fact that you're turning things
thank
around.
you.
Yeah.
I really, man, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your words. I hope I wholeheartedly mean that. Because you get in on some very specific things, and I'm like, yeah, you received that transmission, man. I really appreciate that. Because I don't know, man. I mean, and it's feeling certainly mutual, man. I'll tell you that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
But let's get down into Higher Than Love, because I actually have notes here, okay? Because I love so many specific parts of
You got
this
more notes
song.
than I do, man.
Yeah. I mean, so just from the top, first of all, if you have not listened to this song, everyone, go to Albatross Heights or Independent Artists Unite playlist on Spotify and check out Higher Than Love, because this is such a wonderful song. Right from the start, that bare bones beginning, you're just laying it down with like the arpeggio and the drums, and you do this thing with like a whispery vocal that is so cool and clever, where it's kind of a foreshadowing of the chorus to come, but you're just kind of whispering to give it just the idea of what's coming. Is that right?
That's it. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
trying to get a little bit of vocal in there, more an instrument than the words. I wrote this in 2014. This is an
Okay.
older song that I refreshed. And that may be why I was kind of like, yeah, man, whatever. That
Oh,
might have been
okay.
why I had
Yeah.
that kind of half-ass attitude on it. But I had fun coming back to it, more fun than I thought I would. Um, yeah.
That's that's interesting. So, well, let me talk through these things, and then I'm quite interested as to what the difference might have been in 2014 and now in how it turned out. But the okay, and that was revoked. And then it's the introduction of the bass, which is just this stuttered, it's just a sketch, you know. I mean, it's so tasty, and the fact that you have the patience to do this. I'm always like I've talked before, you know, I'm usually so eager to get to the chorus, you know, that I can't do these kind of things that you're doing, and it's so tasty. You just put your boom, you know, just note, boom, boom, or two, you know, and it's this really fatty bass sound, and so after the bare bones start, you suddenly get a feel for the eventual thickness and wall of sound that this song is going to be. You know, you're just kind of saying, hey, by the way, you're going to get this. And then
It's
when
awesome.
the first chorus comes in, it's like instead of, again, you have the patience to, instead of just going kaboom with the bass and arpeggio and everything all at once, you drop it down to these low piano chords for the first
Yeah.
chorus and drums, and then it's this indistinct vocal. It's a sketch of the chorus vocal that kind of phases in and out. I mean, it's so gorgeous, and you're just like, give me the chorus, and then you go, boom, and in comes the bass and the and the full throated vocal and everything, and it's just so gratifying, man. And the way you constructed that is just like, I mean, my hat's off to you. It was like beautiful.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, there's a healthy amount of teasing in this song, I can't lie.
Yeah.
And as I often do, I probably said this on the last podcast, I'm really good, haha, at putting 900 pounds of shit into a 2-pound bag. And that's what I did with that arpeggiator, not leaving enough space
Mm,
for any other instrument. So I'm like, let's start off with this thing that fills everything up,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then there's enough space after that to just go bump, bump, So I'm like, all right, I can't do more than that, or else I'm really just being a jerk. So sometimes the accidents can inform what needs to come there. The sequence, I just kind of let myself run with it. If I remember right, because this is almost 10 years ago, I was in a very weird headspace when I wrote this song. Um, and I said, this is just going out. This isn't going to be pretty and commercial. This is just going out.
Mm,
Um, and I try to straighten some edges on it with this new iteration. The piano bass is new. Um,
mm,
it's not all bad synth fart sounds now. It's actually like a more rigid sound.
right.
And I recut a lot of vocals. I recut a lot of vocals because it just I don't know. I needed to. But yeah, it
And
um
did you have the whole vocal melody the first time around in 2014, or did you?
yes, yes. It's not very different. It's not. I
Okay,
think I might have a little end of a line changed, um, but it's pretty faithful to the original on that.
okay. And I'm just wondering, like, what kind of influences you're thinking? Because I also noticed, I think it was in the weeks after this came out, you did a whole series of Instagram stories of like R&B artists that you obviously respected,
Yeah.
and one of whom was Stevie Wonder, and I was like, I feel some Stevie Wonder in there. Like I could see him hammering. I forget what that thing is that he played. He played the bass on it, at least in the 70s. The is it a clav? No,
Well, yeah, he had this in clavier.
it's a
He had a
clavier. Yeah, yeah.
clavinet, and yeah, in the early days. But yeah, I'm not worthy to kiss
Yeah, but
Stevie's
like in
fucking
super,
feet,
no, no,
man.
no. Well,
Yeah,
you know,
I appreciate
who is? No, but it just reminded me of that because it was the like he's playing on Superstition. Is that the clavier? The
That's
synth?
the clavinet. Yeah.
Oh shoot,
No, yeah.
you're going in and out a little bit. What?
That's that. I was sorry, that was me making clavinet noises, so it
Oh,
probably was
clavinet.
just
Okay,
me.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was, but yes, the whole it was the whole.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
yeah. Do not adjust
Because
your
it's the
set. I'm making weird noises.
the
Uh,
the the I don't know why the synth arpeggio. I don't know why it just reminded me of that kind of thing, of like a Stevie Wonder thing from the '70s or something. And then I was thinking it really is kind of a R&B influenced vocal line, right?
More than I thought at first. I mean, like I said on the first podcast, and I know this sounds pretentious as crap. I do these things and I figure out what they mean or where I was at later. I know that sounds so cheeseball, but that's what happens.
No,
So
that's what it is. Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, I didn't even notice that I put all those R&B things up. I was just in an R&B mood, classic R&B mood, and just I think you found a through line that I didn't know, and that's amazing. I appreciate that because I do love Stevie Wonder, I do love Funkadelic and all that. That's yeah.
And I mean, this also is just like a total showcase for your voice. I mean,
Thanks.
you're really, I mean, you're just like, I mean, there's like a elasticity to it, you know. I mean, that reminds me a bit of the R&B too, where it's like where you kind of have to be very relaxed to let things, you know, kind of go over like that. But at the same time, you're also singing very high. I mean, at least for me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I thought I was like, wow, that's quite something, you know, to be doing these little trills and lines and stuff while you're also singing that high. Um, it's that's a little less difficult. I mean, it's more difficult, I think. You know, it's one thing to like belt out one note, you know, but when you're like going all over the place, I was like super impressed with that, man. I think it's like really great vocal.
Thank you. I was nervous about bringing back, like, I was doing a lot of that kind of vocal back on other projects. I was like, do I bring this into Albatross Heights or do I keep it a little calm?
Mm.
I'm like, no, I do want to go there. I do want to go there. It's weirdly enough easier for me to sing that than mid range. I don't know why.
Wow, interesting.
It's almost like, have you ever played a brass instrument?
Yeah, trumpet was my first instrument. Yeah,
So, so you know the exact thing, that feeling when you get a constant stream of air.
yeah,
If you're playing too low a note, it's too flabby. But if you get the that's what it feels like to me. I can hit a or something like that, where when
yeah,
I hit an I'm off.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
maybe I'll do more of that, as long as it doesn't scare too many cats or whatever. We'll try to we'll
Well, I
try
mean,
it.
it sounds beautiful, man. It doesn't. It's not like it's a harsh tone or anything either. That's another amazing thing about it, you know.
Yeah, thank
It's
you for
really,
saying.
I mean, too, and it's kind of like, you know, I was going back and reading your kind of the bio that you have on Spotify and Bandcamp, where I forgot to mention that last time, where it was supernatural electro pop, you called it, I think, right?
Yeah.
And that is so accurate because it's weird. I mean, although there are these R&B elements and stuff, there is something that's just totally out of this world happening too, you know. And
That's what I try for. It is.
yeah,
It is.
yeah. And I guess the line too, higher than love, you know, when it's if you're talking about something higher than love, then it's a big idea, you know. It just brings to me that it's got to be some spiritual idea or some universal law at work that's bigger than we are. So that takes it to into that realm as well, you know.
Do you want to hear what I think it's about? Because I just think I figured it out last week.
Yeah, I'd love to.
If I recall correctly, and maybe because I picked it up at this time too to select it, because I'll pick out old songs that kind of line up with feelings I might be having at the same time.
Mm,
What if I'm getting it correctly? Because I listened back to my lyrics, it sounds like somebody who's heartbroken and doesn't want to feel and wants to
mm,
get transcend all the way up that, almost like a meditation, just to be like, I don't want love, pain, anything.
mm.
If love's gonna feel like this, I want to get numb. And I don't mean Keith Richards. I mean just I want to be free of pain I'd rather be blank than feel at this time. That is what I think it's about.
Hmm.
I know I should know what it's about because I wrote it, but I'm not good at that. But that's what I took from it when I was kind of, I guess, in the shower last week, going, what do those words mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. So not numb, but like transcending these human problems that we have kind of into another realm or something.
yeah, not sloppy numb, not euphoria numb,
Yeah.
just pain free. And I
Yeah.
mean, there's a line in there, silent and numb, right before the breakdown.
Mm,
Like an empty sky, all alone, where nothing really matters. That's what it sounded like to me. I was just maybe at that time trying to get neutral and
mm,
and away from something. And we all do it sometime. But
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
usually sing that painful as I do in the end. I'll sing high sometimes, but I can hear pain in my voice at the end, and it came back when I resung it. I just let it go, even though I might not be quite there now.
Mm.
But I tried to beam back in time to do that. And again, it
You mean
was
emotional
weird and
pain or it
fun.
hurts your voice to get up there?
Yeah. No, no, more emotional pain. More
Emotional
emotional
pain.
pain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear that in there too. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and I don't
yeah.
usually.
It really sounds
So
like to me like, oh, I think like the best vocals are like this. It sounds like the feeling is giving rise to the whole thing, like you're like it's bubbling up, like the way the vocals, you're just like
God felt.
you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm wondering, like, did you, when you were first writing it, can you remember? Were you just like improving on a vocal line and then fill it in with lyrics, or how did it come about?
Yeah, that's usually how I do it. Actually, mumble tracks
Hmm.
and just like kind of have a synth or a motif or something going on, like blah, da, da, blah, and say some dumb crap, but just have phonemes. And then
Yeah.
sometimes when I write, I try to match the phonemes. It's a neat kind of puzzle to be like, find a word that was kind of like what you were saying there because it has a moon on it. Um,
I've done that too. I've been doing that lately myself. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
right?
like,
It's a
wait a second.
neat
I
puzzle.
listened to it like the next day. I'm like, wait a second. That sounds like
Right.
yeah.
It's a neat puzzle. It informs the direction a little bit because if you
Yeah.
have like a ba, you're like, I want that to stay ba. So what kind of thing can I say there that's going to hit that? Because it's instrument tones at the end of the
Right,
day,
right, right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think when I wrote it, just to sum it up, I think that goddamn arpeggiator was originally through the whole song. And I think some people, friends of mine, were like, "Nah, nah, bro, you got to take that. You got to give it
I've
a
done it.
break." 'Cause,
Guilty. I've done it.
it was just across the whole thing, and I'm like, and they were like, "Nah, son, you need to take at least 16 to 32 measures and give people a break." I'm like, "Fair enough, fair enough." So, so what did I
Yeah.
do? I found another arpeggiator that wasn't that, and it does the same
Yeah, well,
bunk.
as long as it feels like a change of pace.
Somewhat, somewhat, but yeah, I had more fun with it than I thought I would, and I had more, without sounding poserish, I had more catharsis with it than I thought I would. It
Mm,
almost kind of went back, and this sounds so cheeseball, I'm sorry, but it almost went back and healed me at that time to do
mm,
this.
yeah.
Um, and I am, you know, my thing about my music, I'm not like, wow, this is so awesome or this is not awesome. It's more, did it do what I intended it to do? I think it checked
Mm,
the box for what I intended this one to do.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel good about that. Yeah.
It's interesting, because I've talked to a lot of songwriters, of course, at this point, and it's interesting, this method that I've heard. There's some of my favorite songs that go with this method, which is the where the music comes first and you're grooving and you do this some kind of improv vocal and you're like, did I just say da, da, da? Because that there's a few people, I know that do it that way, and I've ended up there myself, instead of writing lyrics first, but I also, because I've had people really that are poets first and foremost, and so they have a whole poem and they're fitted into the music, but then you don't get that stuff like you're talking about, like I said there, and you want to keep that, you know what I mean? When it's organic and it flows out of the music, it has a certain quality that is just really magical, actually, you know?
I appreciate. I mean, it's fun too, and like I have to say, and I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. I did poetry for a while. It was okay. I was decent at it, but I don't think I have the literary chops to go about it that way personally. So
Mm,
I've always done happy accident kind of instrument lab, like let's make the vocal a talking instrument where the lyrics are impressionist rather than explanatory.
mm,
And sometimes, and it's not all the time. Sometimes I'll be like, no, I have to say this as is, you know. But
mm,
I kind of like people like Tom York of Radiohead or Bowie at times that are just like, I don't know what
mm,
the f that song's about, but it gave me vibes, and I'm
yeah.
kind of there too. So that's the train I come in on.
Mm,
I respect the crap out of people that can be like, no, this needs to be said in this sort. I'm like, good on you, man. That's amazing. I don't have the chops, I don't think.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a different thing, but I'm also like really enjoying that type of approach as well. It's interesting what you said too, because it just made me realize on one of the songs that I have out now, the ballad one, the lyrics are
Yes.
like, it's got nothing, it's like it also is old hurt, you know, it's like
Yeah.
from
Just the visitor.
15 years ago. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That thing gives me effing chills. I don't mean to go tangential, dude, but that thing gives me effing chills. And let's talk after this
Oh, thank
about
you.
that, please,
Yeah,
because that's
yeah.
more about because that's a amazing. Both songs on that are awesome. But I'm sorry to interrupt, but freaking
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, I know. I appreciate it. Yeah, but that was also because it came out of this process that you're talking about, which was kind of scat singing, and then went. Whoa, did I say? And trying to find first of all this kind of hooky melody, like staying like, oh, let me feel this, let me move with it, let me whatever, and feel what this chorus is going to be, and then
Yeah.
the idea that came was like a very old hurt from like 15 years ago,
Wow.
so that was like really interesting eh, as well. It's like, what are your thoughts about like when you're writing a song? Do you feel like this is an energy in the universe, or like a gift from your higher self in another dimension, or do you have any ideas about that?
I do believe in a higher self channeling it through me. I don't believe in it quite starting with me. It might go through with that
Mm,
southern fried flavor or whatever. I don't know,
yeah.
but but I do believe I acknowledge a higher existence and I try to pay attention to it best I can. So
Mm,
yeah, do I believe that God puts a whole song up here or whatever source, God, universe puts a whole song up here and I'm like, ooh, I've got it. Blah. Not for me. I have transforms and ways and journey, and I enjoy that journey of figuring it out. I do
mm,
enjoy that a lot. I don't like it to be woke up with the song Paul McCartney kind of way. I mean, those are great, and his songs are amazing, but I like to get there rather than have it all the way there um,
yeah.
at once, personally.
You, you mean Paul McCartney?
Paul Paul McCartney. That's funny.
I just saw a whole thing on how Paul McCartney, about the whole thing about him, it being another person.
Paul's
I
dead.
said, yeah, Paul's dead. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they were very serious about it on this little
Oh yeah.
YouTube clip I watched.
Oh dude, everybody's like, man, he's barefoot on Abbey Road cover. Look, he's dead. And I'm
Yeah,
like, how
exactly. They showed
big
that. Yeah,
jump,
that was
guys?
part of it. That was part of it.
Yeah, but I love listening to those, but I think he's with us. I don't
Yeah. Um,
know.
shoot, what was I going to say about shoot, what were you talking about before Paul McCartney? Sorry, my brain injury is coming for me here.
Oh, that's no, that's quite okay. I'm slowing myself with whatever this cold is. I think we're talking about kind of a channel, and you're saying like, do you view
Oh, yeah, yeah,
yourself?
yeah, 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 yeah. The
Yeah.
channel, yeah.
Or,
Yeah, so yeah, because I'm just wondering, like when you enter a songwriting process, do you have any kind of ritual where you're like, okay, I'm gonna open myself up to this right now and see what comes out? Or is it just sitting down with a guitar or a keyboard?
sorry to talk over you there. I should. I meditate. I'm not ultra disciplined with it. I'm trying to get better, but I'll do that. Not necessarily like right before the song session, but
Mm,
I would like to pursue that. I'm trying to get a clearer head in a lot of ways anyway. I think I should pursue that personally. But I don't currently. It's more happenstance, like, open up a plugin, go do it, make some beatbox over it, see where it goes, and let it evolve. It's fun, but I'd like to be able to command that a little more
yeah,
for speed, if nothing else. You know.
yeah. Um, Now, what are you doing next? You're talking about an EP that maybe has got a common theme or something. Are you still working on that, or
Yeah,
is it
I'm.
done? Or
I don't know. It's behind schedule. I need to get on. I'm doing. I'm finishing up some remixes, which has been fun to get back into as well. I'm finishing up this weekend. Then I'll be back on the EP. It's a 3-song EP. It's more like a glorified single. Two singing songs sandwiched with an instrumental in the middle. So that's what I'm trying to get out for December-ish. Past that, I am trying to do a more 7-song kind of thing.
okay,
Um, I don't know if it's going to be immediately after or I'll do some more singles. I try to keep the flow going. I try not to be like go away for 9 months or
too
anything
long.
like I
Yeah,
used to.
yeah,
So
yeah. Oh, awesome. Um,
that's kind of what's next. I'm trying to get better with video and all too. My social presence could be better.
yeah. Well, I love the image that came with "Higher Than Love" too. Did you do the artwork for that too, or put that together, or do you have someone else that
So
does it?
I do sometimes the photography and stuff on it, but I have a buddy in Maine who does a lot of my stuff, Josie Stephen Carey, who has cool ways of pasting stuff together and juxtaposing stuff. He's probably about 80% of my covers. Some of them I do, some
Oh,
of them
cool.
are, other things, other friends and all. But the the next two EPs are gonna have his stuff on it too, because I
Okay.
just love. He's a cool dude, and I love what he does.
Yeah, I love
It's real.
that cover. It's like it's like a man and a woman kissing, but it's like a is it the moon or another planet
It,
in the
it
background?
looks like hopping on some kind of satellite or something. Like, hey, come here, babe.
Oh
Get on
yeah.
this satellite or something. I don't know exactly, but I like that I don't know exactly what it is. And it's like, come here,
Yeah,
she. I don't know.
yeah,
But,
yeah. I really like that. Um, well, um, yeah, man. I guess that's it. We've been going a little over 30 minutes. I can't say enough about this song, man. I'm like I keep returning to it again and again. It's somehow it's a feel good song for me. I know you said there's a broken heart in there, but maybe it's the intention to transcend emotional troubles, because I'm also kind of, you know, I'm in some stuff right now, right now,
I'm sorry.
Um yeah, no, it's all right, but it's like it's actually, well, I mean, it's similar to like a broken romance, is that I'm going through this process of accepting. I guess it's really about accepting my mental health and accepting, when I had this heart attack, I didn't end up with um a lasting heart problem, thank God. But I did have sustained a brain injury. My heart wasn't beating for over 40 minutes, which
Oh my God, I
nobody,
didn't know this.
yeah, nobody comes out of that unscathed. I mean, even though they were doing CPR on me, of course, I'm not getting enough oxygen to the brain. The brain actually is very clever, goes into like a low oxygen mode to try to preserve itself, but there's still, some problems. So it's about like I've been going through this process of accepting that this is who I am now, and trying to not compare myself to how sharp and witty I thought I was before, and kind of
Same.
accepting the memory issues and certain things about like like these times where I'm like losing my place, it's about a it's about a oh, no, I can't even think what it's called. It's about multitasking, you know?
Hmm.
Like and really it's like life is all these ratios of multitasking, and is more when there's the more stuff there is to pay attention to, I start having just collapses, so maybe I'm
Understand?
feeling that from the song, I mean, I also believe that too, that if you put these intention into these songs, and I try to do it too, there's an energy, it's not it doesn't also sometimes, of course, it's reflected in the sounds and things like that, but like you said, the lyrics and stuff like that, um maybe it's more of an intention that comes through, because what I feel from the song is this uplifting, you know which is more of an intentional thing, like you're saying, oh, I want to rise above and transcend this, and maybe I'm drawn to that intention in there, that's not even specifically uh alluded to. It's interesting.
I'm glad you can pull like a catharsis or a release from it. I never wanted to find these songs too tight to where they can't be felt by other people.
Mm,
That's the real reason why I don't want to be. This song's about a red ball that rolls down the street in October.
yeah,
I don't want to do that. I want to be like, what does it mean for you? Does it mean flying cows? Does it mean? I'm not trying to be too funny, but I mean like,
yeah.
but I'll share what it means for me and what I think it means if it helps take you closer to working for you. I appreciate what you said, and I'm glad that it helps. I don't write. I found that I don't write positive songs like major chord emo. Not making fun of it. It's
Mm,
just not my bag. I seem to write implicitly uplifting things. They're meant to be good, but they have
mm.
kind of a dark mask on them at first. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm
It's
right with you. I mean, I feel like that's what happens with me too.
yeah, it's great. I gravitate towards that. I really
Yeah,
do.
I
That's
mean,
probably
I always said, like, when I would, I don't write on guitar really anymore. I'm always messing with the keyboard, but and sequencers as well. Not able to turn them off. But uh whenever I sat down with a guitar, it is like I sit down, I can't even play for fun. I just strum a little bit and then start writing the saddest song in the world. It
oh
happens.
man.
It happens every time. It's like as soon as I find like some melancholy, jazzy something of, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always some melancholia, in there, even if it's even if it sounds uplifting. But that's life. I mean,
It's
it's
both.
like,
There's bounces of both energies. I don't want to be like everything's sunshine, everything's all right. I was like, no, everything's not all right, but will be,
mm,
and can get there. But there's a little journey to get to it sometimes, and we all go through different ones. Hopefully, we can share stories like you and I have that somebody else having the same stuff can find something in, whether it be
mm.
sound or the words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's I always love this thing about that joy, is somewhere between happiness and sadness. I love the word joy rather than happiness, because joy for me is like, oh, you can feel these little waves of joy, that somehow have sadness baked into them. That it's an experience. There's this. I mean, just being this age, it's like one thing they don't tell you when you're younger is you keep carrying the sadness with you. The
Yeah.
sadness. Here we go. We're moving through life. It's like
Oh
when
yeah.
someone dies, and you think, oh, yeah, oh, I feel like, when I was younger, I was, oh yeah, well, what, a year or two, then you're over it, but you're never over it. I mean, especially with me and my loss of my parents, even though it was difficult relationships, but it's it's just it's a sadness, that I just walk onward with. You don't ever get over it. Maybe it's too depressing to tell a little kid that. I don't know, but there's something beautiful about it too.
you can allude to it and know that they're going to go through it in their own way. Um,
Yeah.
I try not to make. There's a couple songs I had to shut down that I'm like, this just goes to a dark end. I don't want that. I don't want it to
Mm,
stay. Knowing that some people can write a fully sad song and that's fine, but I want there to always be some hope in there.
mm.
But also lets you wash through that pain a little easier. Uh, the pain can be transformed. It might not go away, but it can be transformed and refocused. Uh, Easier said than done, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. But
Let's end on that because I think
yeah,
that's kind of where we started, because that's the best we can do. We're feeling these things, we put it into art, we try to, we try to not wrap it up and put a nice bow on it, but that some kind of transcending occurs, something changes,
yeah.
and yeah, and you've done that just beautifully on this song. And now I'm going to enjoy listening to it over and over and over again, even more.
Oh man, you're gonna be so sick of that song and that arpeggiator, dude.
I'm not sick of it. I'm
Oh
not sick
man,
of it. I'm not sick of it. I
that's too
think
kind.
it's interesting. I mean, maybe that's a big part of not getting sick of a song is if you do alter. I mean, I didn't even count how many times you like you're saying you're teasing or altering a part. It's never it's never the same, right? You never repeat in the same way to a part, really.
That's
Uh,
right. Yeah, I've
yeah.
kind of tried to
So
around a little bit.
that's really amazing, I mean, I've never I've never done that. I do well, actually, maybe James, James K. Alter, who's producing my stuff now, I think he's making me do that. He takes over, and I mean, if you hear the demo of, for instance, The Visitor, you'd
Yeah,
be like, oh, wow. I mean, the vocal was there, but it was much more. It didn't have this huge sweeping build, and finishing with the drums and the guitar, that he drum programming and guitar he did, which really sent it over the top. So I mean,
yeah.
I love working with him because I feel like he's got this quotient that I'm missing, in my own. So maybe I could do that for someone else, but I can't do it for my stuff. So also, I think it's amazing that you can do that for your own songs.
Took a minute.
Yeah,
It took a minute. I don't know if the 2014 version has as much of that, honestly. I think it looked more like Legos,
yeah,
like
yeah.
part, part, part. So it's not easy. And not every song necessarily calls for it. Listen to Blue Monday or something like that. I mean,
Right, right.
that's pretty bricky, but it worked.
Actually, have you ever seen a breakdown of Blue Monday on one of these shows
I
that
probably
break
haven't.
it down?
I'd love
I
to
just
see.
saw that recently, and it was pretty amazing.
What?
That damn, I don't even know who the guy was. I wonder if it was the producer. I wish I knew. But he talked about what they started with, what they put in next, and they've got actually sequences in there that are out of time.
Yeah,
They weren't able to sync it up, but it comes in with the like I think it comes in when that octave bass comes in, and it straightens out the drum beat, and so it works somehow, but it's actually out of time, and it was
that's a
super
push
cool.
pull on it.
Yeah, yeah, it was super
Yeah,
cool to hear that.
that
But
is neat.
yeah, I mean, that is a crazy song. And because he was talking about how there's no chorus, you know.
Yep.
Here's this song that is like, probably the song of new wave, if you were like to put a number one with influence, certainly, and
Oh
and, and
man.
everything. And I mean, whole bands, not to I won't mention any right now. There are whole bands where their entire career is based on Blue Monday. You know?
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's an
Oh, you're
amazing
darn right. That's like the
it's an
template
amazing thing.
for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of things. I love it when it happens. Just and sorry not to eat, but I love it when the outlier things happen. Just like Prince, When Doves Cry. It was 20 years later till I read an interview that said it's the only hit song to make it without bass. I'm, what do you mean without bass? Holy shit! There's no bass in that song.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Go back and
Wow.
listen to it. There's no, but there might be like a bass note in the end chords, but there he took the bass out of the song.
Wow. Okay, now I got to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Mhm.
Well, man,
Yeah, I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
jump off, but we'll end the show anyway. We'll keep talking. Um, dude, love you, man. Love you. Love your music. Love your process. Love you as a human being. Keep on
Right
going,
back
man.
at you.
Keep on going.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Scott. I'm
Thank you for
glad
doing this. Yeah.
this is great. Thank you, man.